First, so again, there's this company. Their name keeps popping up everywhere I go during my time here at Better Kansas City.
This bakery makes specialized loaves for grocery stores and several restaurants all around town.
So I figured enough asking questions. Let's go find out how they make that delicious bread at Farm to Market Bread Company. Give us a little bit of the history behind how you guys got to here in the Crossroads. We're in your building at 20th and Walnut here in the Crossroads, and it's a fantastic manufacturing facility.
Thanks.
But talk a little bit about your history of Farm to Market Bread.
Yeah, in 1993, my father, Mark Friend, and his partner, Fred Spompanato, were working at a commercial sourdough bakery and decided they wanted to make bread their own way. So they raised $10,000 between the two of them, took out a $10,000 loan, and rented some space in the back of the Classic Cup in Westport.
Oh, okay.
They traded bread for rent and delivered bread out of their cars and slowly grew from there. In about 95, we moved to Waldo.
Okay.
And that's when we really started to get traction. Started delivering to grocery stores and restaurants 7 days a week. And in 2012, we moved down to the Crossroads here at 20th and Walnut.
Was there a one type of bread that you guys made that really kind of set yourself up to really start pushing you to that next level? And was that 95 you said when they moved to Waldo?
Yeah, sourdough is our specialty. My father's an expert in sourdough. There's not a lot of bakeries in the Midwest that do traditional, all-natural, naturally leavened sourdough. We never add any yeast to it. It's basically an ongoing process that never ends from the start of our starter. We keep it going every day. Take what we need from it, feed it, build it back up for the next day.
And I'm sure there's a science to baking, knowing how much yeast to add, what different flours to use.
Yeah.
And you're almost kind of be a scientist or a chemist in a way, right?
Yeah, baking is often referred to as the science side of cooking.
Yeah.
Where cooking, put a dash of this in, a dash of that. We have to be accurate. All of our ingredients are measured to the gram. But yeah, it is a science project. We're dealing with a living organism. Whether it's a naturally leavened bread where we're using the naturally occurring yeast and bacteria in the air, or yeasted bread, those are all live organisms until they go through the oven.
I can't wait to see it in action, and that's where we're going next. I got my hairnet here. Are you ready to go on the floor?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, hairnet's on. Let's do it. Yeah, looking tough there. In a few minutes, we're going to head into the bakery, and yes, it smells fantastic. It just smells as good as it looks, and I got my hairnet, so it's going to be fantastic. Welcome back to Better Kansas City. Despite the big machines, there's still a small artisanal bakery. We're going to head out onto the bakery floor with hairnets at Farm to Market Bread Company. We're back to where you guys really kind of do the science of baking here. This is kind of where it begins in the mixer, right?
Yeah. So the first step is mixing. You can kind of divide our breads into two categories: yeasted breads and naturally leavened breads. So, whether you're going to start with a starter or you're going to use baking yeast.
Okay.
And basically, we're trying to bring the ingredients together and start to develop the gluten, which gives the dough its strength, and which will allow it to be able to proof and rise throughout the long fermentation process, which is something else unique about our breads. Is we use long fermentation processes, whereas commercial bakeries, they want things to move really fast. Yeah, time is money, but we slow things down, and that's where a lot of the flavors come from.
When you talk about fermentation, is that the same thing as when people are making alcohol?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeast is eating the sugars in the flour and other ingredients, and they produce alcohol. In our instance, it's more of a gas, which will cause the bread to rise. Once the dough's mixed, it gets divided, and it'll get some floor time, anywhere from half an hour to 3 hours.
And that's to let that fermentation process happen?
Yeah, and pretty much every time we work with the dough, it needs time to rest.
Okay.
So then it gets divided, and then it needs time to rest. Whereas there are some exceptions on those buns we were making over there. We actually have a machine that divides it. We press it down, and then we release these blades that divide it into 20 equal pieces. Our larger loaves, after we divide them, they get about 30-minute rest, and then we have our rounder. We do, probably 1,500 round loaves a day.
Oh my goodness.
Just out of that. We use equipment that kind of keeps to our artisan techniques, things that aren't too rough on the dough. A lot of our doughs are high hydration doughs, meaning they have a lot of water. They're a little bit more fragile, for instance.
So you're kind of keeping that small bakery techniques for a larger operation then.
Yeah, we're a large artisan bakery.
Yeah.
These are our rack ovens.
Okay.
It's going to be more like a convection type oven where we're blowing the hot air around the bread. These breads have a softer crust compared to our hearth oven, which we start baking about 4 p.m. in the afternoon. And in that oven, we bake all of our hearth breads, our artisan style breads with our French baguette, our French farm, our Italian, our sourdough. Baking right on that hearth stone is going to give it a crispy crust. Okay. So we bake those breads as late in the day as possible, and then once they're cooled, we package them in paper to maintain the crispness of the bread, and then they're only on the grocery store shelves for 1 day.
Oh, wow.
So we deliver to the grocery stores every day, so there's always fresh bread on the shelves and bread that was baked the night before.
In the next half hour, the menus around town where you can find their customized creations.
Okay, Bill, well, all day today, you have been showing us delicious carb and gluten-loaded bread, and I'm ready to see if we can get in on this action.
And you will, don't worry, and you can try some too at some of these local spots. One of the spots that I found out about your bread company was from Wiener Kitchen over in Lenexa, and they use a lot of your hot dog buns, but they're more than hot dog buns. They're like huge loaves of bread that they cram a bunch of sausage in. It's delicious.
Yeah, half of our business is grocery stores and the other half is restaurants, and we do a lot of specialty items for restaurants. So we do some custom buns for Wiener Kitchen. Basically, it's a sheet of hot dog buns is probably the best way to describe it. But we do, there's lots of great local restaurants who love to support local businesses. Yeah. The Mix is a big customer of ours. Jasper's is a great customer. Red Door Grill, tons and tons of great local restaurants. BRGR, can go on forever.
Make all their buns?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. We have probably 20 base mixes, but then out of that we do different shapes, different sizes, different toppings, and when we break that down, we're well over 200 different products.
And I know you said for Wiener Kitchen you do a sheet of hot dog buns. Is there any other like just unique loaf or bun or something that you guys make for a restaurant in town that's just kind of way out there, or something that somebody's approached you with, you're like, well, that's kind of different, but I think we could do it?
For BRGR, we make a custom bun for them with their burger seasoning.
Oh.
So that, at first I wasn't sure how that was going to taste, but it turned out really good. Boulevard Brewery is a big customer of ours. We make a lot of bread for them with beer. So we make a pretzel for them with beer that they actually, we deliver to them raw, and then they wrap it around sausages and run it through the pretzel lye bath and bake it there. And we also do a pizza shell for them for their new pizza place at the beer hall that we mix beer in with for them.
And we have some of the chili cheese bread here. It smells terrific. And my favorite thing to do so far with this that I found out is I take it home, I slather it up with some cheese, grilled cheese style, with the chili cheese sourdough from Farm to Market Bread Company. It is amazing.
If you're gonna do sourdough, I mean, it's gotta be chili cheese.
That's right. So
excited to try
Farm
this.
to Market, really cool, really good. Thanks to them for letting me come visit them.